The government of Colombia, descendant of the FARC-EP, began a new round of peace talks with the formal installation of the negotiating panel. Israeli bombardments leave at least 259 people killed in Palestine in the last 24 hours, and the death toll exceeds 2,800 civilians in both the Gaza Strip and the West Bank. And in Belgium, 2 people were killed during a shooting in Brussels on Monday, and the suspect was on the run. Hello, welcome to From the South. I'm Ana Marrero from the teleSUR headquarters in Caracas, Venezuela. We'll begin with the news. Stay with us. Of the FARC-EP began a new round of peace talks with the formal installation of the negotiating panel. The meeting is held in the municipality of Tibu in the north of Santander. It is expected that during these talks, an agreement to reach a bilateral ceasefire will be discussed. In that sense, the President of Colombia, Gustavo Petro, hours before the beginning of the installation, called the importance and the historical responsibility that the negotiators have to assume at the negotiating panel. The President of Venezuela, Nicolás Maduro, met with the Secretary of Foreign Affairs of Mexico, Alicia Bárcena, in order to strengthen diplomatic relations and favor the mutual development. The dialogue took place after a month of exchange between the two officials during the G77 plus China summit held in Havana. The Venezuelan president also points out that during Monday's meeting, they reaffirmed the commitment to advancing cooperation in key areas to address global challenges. On Monday in Venezuela, social movements gathered in Plaza Bolívar in Caracas to raise their voices for the freedom of Alex Saab. The mobilization took place in the framework of the 2 years of the second kidnapping of the Venezuelan diplomat Alex Saab, and were attended by social organizations, the People's Power and the Free Alex Saab's movement. In October 2021, the diplomat was detained without legal process since his capture in Cape Verde and then extradited to the U.S. In Panama, mobilizations continue in rejection of the contract between the government and a mining company. Organizers announced that the People's United for Life Alliance will concentrate on Monday in front of the General Comptroller of the Republic to reject the signed contract. Previously, social and environmental groups have rejected this agreement, which was declared unconstitutional in 2017 by the Supreme Court of Justice. The move team traveled to the westernmost province of the Antillean island, Pinar del Rio, to continue recounting the experiences of its people.
teleSUR continues traveling through Cuba. We are in Pinar del Rio on our way to the Batey de San Vicente at kilometer 5 of the Colombian road, the place where Ian, the most powerful hurricane to hit the area in a long time, entered just a year ago. This is where Miguelis Canales lives, a 51-year-old teacher with a master's degree in educational sciences who has been working in tobacco since the death of her husband 7 years ago.
Times are difficult, it is true, but you have to overcome them and keep moving forward.
Do you miss your time as a teacher?
Yes, I do. Teaching children is a beautiful career.
Miguelis is one of 2 women tobacco growers from the Benigno Acosta Credit and Services Cooperative who are in the process of irrigating seed beds to ensure planting for the 2023-2024 season.
In addition of being a teacher, Miguel has had the challenge of becoming a tobacco producer because of her life story, which has been a bit complicated as she has had to raise her family. But with the drive of her children, she has managed to carry out her dual role as a mother and as an excellent tobacco producer. Now, she is the president of the cooperative grassroots organization, which also gives her a special touch, as she is a producer with a great desire to work, very entrepreneurial.
When Hurricane Ian passed through here a year ago, only 6 of the 59 tobacco houses on this land were left standing. Today, 28 have been rebuilt, and Miguelis is one of them. Jorge Luis and Luis Enrique, Miguelis' sons, helped their mother to put it up.
I'm going to be honest. I didn't think that my tobacco house would have been right, completely destroyed, because it wasn't new, but it wasn't in such bad conditions. Like the cyclone, as we say, after the eye pass, it was the most difficult part. And what the first part hadn't done, the second part did. Everything was destroyed. All these fields were devastated, completely devastated.
Did you cry?
Of course, and quite a lot. My children were very discouraged, fearing that we wouldn't be able to do the next harvest. How could we rebuild the tobacco house? I said, look, we are going to collect what we can, the good we can, the thing we can, and we will see what we can do.
Miguelis says that with the effort of his children and the help of the cooperative, she rebuilt the tobacco house and was one of the few producers who were able to plant last season. With the house half built, they were able to obtain more than 50% of what they were supposed to collect. What is the most difficult thing for a tobacco producer, and what is the greatest satisfaction?
The most difficult moment is the development of the campaign, because it takes a lot of dedication. Tobacco is a plant that does not wait. If today you have to water it, it is not tomorrow. It is today. If today you have to fumigate it, it is today, not tomorrow. That is to say that all its cultural attentions have a moment, and they have to be fulfilled. It is a plant that lets you know its needs, and you have to provide it at the right time. So the greatest satisfaction is to see the final result, which of course is in benefit for the producer. It is a benefit satisfaction for my children, because it is not a secret that when you have a good production, you have good results. When you have good results, you have a little money that satisfies all the basic needs of your home, and others that perhaps are not so basic, but that makes your life more human.
Miguelis proudly tells teleSUR that the lands around here are part of the tobacco massif that produces the best tobacco in the world and provides more than 50% of the country's tobacco exports.
Let's take a very short break, but remember you can now join us on our TikTok account as teleSUR English, where you'll be able to see news in different formats, news updates and more. Stay tuned for more news. Welcome back to From the South. Israeli bombardments leave at least 254 people killed in Palestine in the last 24 hours, and the death toll exceeded 2,800 civilians in both the Gaza Strip and the West Bank. Authorities in Gaza reported that Israeli fighter jets fired missiles over the Bandar region, leaving more than 50 people dead, most of them women and children. Meanwhile, local media reports details that at least 30 people were killed when Israeli fighter jets fired missiles at the homes in Khan Yunis and western Al Hamon neighborhood. In Egypt, 108 trucks carried humanitarian aid for the inhabitants of Gaza to head Palestine through the Rafah crossing. This aid includes 1,000 tons of medical equipment, food, clothing, and blankets, as well as donations of blood and medicines. Also, hundreds of volunteers have come together to provide aid to Gaza. A blood donation center has been set up and has had an influx of donators since Friday afternoon. However, not all the aid will be transported by land. The Egyptian government prepared an airport in the city of Arich near the Rafah border crossing to receive direct flights to bring international aid to Palestine. The government of China defends the need for an immediate ceasefire in the side that Israel maintains against the civilian population in the Gaza Strip. In the framework of a meeting with his Russian counterpart Sergei Lavrov, the Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi made a statement on the situation of the clashes between Israel and the Palestinian resistance. Wang Yi defended the need for an immediate ceasefire and called for the intervention of the United Nations Security Council. The UN humanitarian chief Martin Griffiths said he will be heading to the Middle East on Tuesday to try to help negotiate aid access to the Gaza Strip. Griffiths said he was hoping to hear some good news later Monday on aid access into the blockade and beside Palestinian enclave via the Rafah border crossing with Egypt, but Israel has refused to temporarily choose to allow aid in or pouring out of the Gaza Strip.
I shall be going myself tomorrow to the region to try to help in the negotiations, to try to bear witness and to express solidarity with the extraordinary courage of the many thousands of aid workers who have stayed the course and who are still there helping the people in Gaza and in the West Bank. A response to that egregious act also includes humanitarian rules of war. You cannot ask people to move out of harm's way without assisting them to do it, to go to places of their choice where they want to be safe and with the humanitarian aid that they need to make that journey safely. And right now, the movement that has happened has not had those provisions.
The Belgian capital prosecutor's office said that 2 people were killed during a shooting in Brussels on Monday, and the suspect was on the run. Local media said the victims were Swedish. The alleged gunman in a fluorescent orange jacket fled the scene after using an automatic rifle, according to the video shared by the Flemish newspaper. A video claiming responsibility for the shooting was circulating on social media, in which a man speaking Arabic, a source close to the case said. Spokeswoman for the prosecutor's office told AFP that an investigation had been opened but did not speculate on the gunman's move. Let's take our last break, but before we invite you to visit our YouTube channel at teleSUR English, where you'll be able to watch our interviews, top stories, special broadcasts, and more. Hit the subscribe button and activate the notification bell to stay up to date on the world's most recent events. One final short break, don't go away. Welcome back. On Monday, the Food and Agricultural Organization of the United Nations indicate that the agricultural sector and security have been affected by the impact of the effects of climate change. According to the report published by the organization, climate change has caused losses of at least $3.8 trillion in the agricultural sector, thus compromising the food supply of the citizens. Asia is also the most affected region globally, with more than $116 billion losses, equivalent to 5% of the annual agricultural gross domestic products. In Afghanistan, a new 6.3 magnitude earthquake shocked the city of Herat, leaving at least 50 people injured on Sunday. The earthquake occurred 1 hour after an aftershock shocked the north of Herat province, and a 6.3 earthquake occurred in the same province a week ago on October the 7th. Taliban's government officials estimate that more than 2,000 people across the Herat province perished in the quake, and more than 90% were women and children, according to the UN agencies and officials on the ground. China's Foreign Minister Wang Yi received his Russian counterpart Sergei Lavrov on Monday, who is visiting the Asian nation in participation for the preparation for the International Forum of the Belt and Road. The diplomatic exchange view on bilateral issues and on the upcoming visit of President Vladimir Putin to Beijing. On the subject, the Chinese Foreign Minister stated that the presence of the Russian President at the International Forum will make a very important contribution and promote a strategic intervention between the two countries. Less than a week before the Durga Puja, Bangladesh biggest Hindu festival, artisans are feverishly crafting in interactive idols, especially of the revenge goddess Durga. The grand celebration begins on October the 20th. The Durga Avatar or Durga Puja celebration commemorates the struggle of the goddess against the evil force embodied by the demon Mahisha, and usually lasts for 9 days or nights through the most important days or the final 5. According to the artists participating in the celebration, they must prioritize definitions of the figures and them, the other the enchantments aside, inside and outside the Dhaka. We have come to the end of this news brief, but you can find this and many other stories on our website at telesurenglish.net. You can also use us on our socials. We're on Facebook and X and on Instagram as well. For TeleSUR English from the South, I'm Ana Marrero. Thank you for watching.